Most riders think Harley-Davidson owns the American dream. Big chrome, loud pipes, leather jackets, and the idea that freedom is spelled M-I-L-W-A-U-K-E-E. But here's what they don't know. 4 brands are quietly stealing their thunder, building bikes that cost half the price, and honestly, deliver twice the soul. And today, we're counting down the motorcycles putting Harley out of business. Stick around for number 1, because that machine proves that you don't need Milwaukee badges to ride like a legend. Number 4. The Honda Rebel line, the giant killer. Ever seen a bike that looks humble but punches way above its weight class? Well, that's the Honda Rebel lineup. This isn't just one bike. It's a full-on takeover of the segment Harley used to dominate. And here's the wild part. Harley practically handed Honda the keys to the kingdom. Here's the backstory. Well, a few years back, Harley had real entry-level options. You had the Street 500 and 750. Not perfect bikes, but they got new riders into dealerships. Then you had the air-cooled Sportster 883 and 1200, affordable and iconic. But around 2020 to 2021, Harley axed all of them. And what did they replace them with? Well, the Sportster S and Nightster, running the new Revolution Max engine. Now, cool bikes, but let's be real. They started around $13,500 and climbed towards $16,000 with options. Now, that's not an entry-level bike. That's a second mortgage. Meanwhile, Honda saw the gap and they went in swinging. The Rebel 300, just over $5,000, perfect for brand new riders. The Rebel 500, around $6,500, the sweet spot. And the Rebel 1100, between $9,000 to $10,000, even with DCT. That's 3 options: beginner, intermediate, and advanced, all under Harley's starting price. Now here's why it works. The Rebel 300 is approachable, lightweight, low seat height, just enough grunt to get you moving without scaring you. Now for beginners, that's gold. The Rebel 500 is where Honda nails it. It checks 3 boxes Harley left empty. 1. Balanced performance. 47 horsepower, easy handling, not overwhelming, but never boring. 2. Affordability. Cheap enough to buy outright or finance without killing your wallet. And 3. Customization potential. Honda designed the frame and styling so that you can strip it down, black it out, or build it up. It's a canvas, just like the old Sportster was. And then there's the Rebel 1100. That thing brings Honda's Africa Twin engine into a cruiser. Smooth, torquey, with optional DCT for riders who want automatic shifting. It has cruise control, rider modes, and traction control, all in a sub-$10,000 package. Compare that to Harley's entry models today. They're heavier, pricier, and less approachable for new riders. Now, Honda didn't just build a bike. They built an ecosystem for riders to grow through. Start on the 300, upgrade to the 500, and then move on to the 1100. Harley killed that ladder. Now those riders are wearing Honda jackets. Number 3. The Honda Goldwing, the touring destroyer. So what happens when you build a touring bike that actually cares about the rider? Well, you get the Honda Goldwing. Now this bike has been around since 1975, and it still makes Harley's baggers look like second place. Passenger comfort? The Goldwing treats your passenger like royalty. Wide seats, heated options, armrests, proper back support, and space to move around. On a Harley bagger, the passenger often feels like an afterthought. Let's talk technology. Electronics that work. You've got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, a system that doesn't glitch every other ride. Harley's infotainment? Riders complain about lag, crashes, and outdated software. What about handling? Well, here's a shocker. Despite being a 900-pound touring bike, the Goldwing actually handles. Thanks to its low center of gravity and flat 6 engine, it feels nimble in corners. Ride one, and it feels like a bike half its size. Harley's touring rigs? Well, they handle okay, but not with the same agility or confidence. And when it comes to storage, the Goldwing has enough storage for your partner's entire vacation wardrobe and still space left for your gear. Harley saddlebags? Stylish, but often smaller and less practical. Reliability. Honda doesn't just build bikes, they build machines that last decades. Riders rack up 200,000 miles on Goldwings without a rebuild. Try doing that with a Harley bagger without a garage full of tools. Now here's why it matters. Touring is supposed to be about freedom, not fighting your bike. Honda built a machine that focuses on the ride, not the brand name. And that's why the Goldwing keeps eating Harley's lunch. Number 2. The Indian Scout, the Sportster Killer. Picture this, Marlon Brando's iconic cruiser style, but with fuel injection, ABS, and brakes that actually stop you. Well, that's the Indian Scout. Reintroduced in 2015, the Scout has been stalking Harley's Sportster lineup like a predator. And here's the kicker. While Harley killed off the air-cooled Sportster, Indian doubled down. As far as pricing and options, the Scout 60 starts at around $11,000. The Scout 1200 models range from $13K to $17K depending on the trim. Not dirt cheap, but still a solid value considering the performance and finish. Let's take a look at the engine and the ride. The 1133cc V-twin is smooth and predictable, generating around 100 horsepower. That's significantly more grunt than the old Sportsters ever offered. Forward controls, low seat height, and relaxed ergonomics make it comfortable for both short rides and long cruises. As far as build quality, this is where Indian shines. The Scout feels solid. Attention to detail in the paint, chrome, and fit makes it stand out. Riders often say it feels like Harley used to. The experience. It's got that classic cruiser look, a low stance, flat tires, clean lines, but with modern reliability. It doesn't leak oil. It doesn't vibrate your hands numb. It just works. And as far as customer service goes, Indian dealerships generally treat riders like they actually matter, which Harley has been slipping on in recent years. And here's why it hurts Harley. The Scout hits where Harley used to dominate, affordable cruisers with soul. Harley abandoned that, and Indian, well, they picked up the torch. And finally, number 1, Royal Enfield, the soul machine. You know those bikes that just get it right, not by being flashy, but by being authentic? Well, that's Royal Enfield. Here's why it works. The Classic 350 starts around $4,000. That's new bike smell for the price of a beat-up used Harley. Its timeless design, round headlight, teardrop tank, spoke wheels. A bike that looks like it stepped out of 1950, but starts every time you hit that button. As far as the engine and ride, the new J-Series 350cc engine is smooth, refined, and easygoing. It's not a rocket, but it's perfect for city rides and weekend cruises. And the fuel economy? 65 to 75 miles per gallon is realistic. Some riders even see 80 with some careful riding. Moving up, the 650cc twins, the Interceptor, and Continental GT take it to another level. More power, still affordable, at around 6.5 to 7K, and dripping with vintage charm. These bikes prove that you don't need $20,000 to get soul. How about that vibe? Royal Enfield brings back something motorcycles have been missing: artistry. Simple, elegant machines that make you feel like you're writing history. And that's why they're selling like crazy worldwide, even outselling Harley in some markets. How about a bonus? The BMW R18, the heritage machine. In 2020, BMW dropped their largest boxer twin ever, the R18. 1800 cc's of air-cooled thunder, wrapped in a design that nods back to the 1930s R5. Here's why it stands out. Got the exposed drive shaft, mechanical beauty instead of plastic covers, a minimalist design, pure lines, not cluttered tech. And the price, around $16K to $18K, which is less than half a Harley CVO bagger. Now this bike isn't about speed, it's about presence. Park one anywhere, and it's gonna draw a crowd. So, what are these brands doing that Harley isn't? Well, 1, embracing heritage. BMW honors the R5, Royal Enfield keeps the 50s alive, Honda balances classic and modern, and Harley, well, they've drifted. 2, blending tech with soul. Modern features that don't ruin the vibe. 3, offering multiple price points, something for every rider. And 4, respecting entry-level riders, because beginners today are lifers tomorrow. Now here's Harley's problem. They forgot their superpower. They used to sell nostalgia and pride. Now, too many models look like overpriced tech experiments. Meanwhile, Honda, Indian, Royal Enfield, and BMW are giving riders what they actually want. Honda gives you options and reliability. Indian gives you muscle and craftsmanship. Royal Enfield gives you soul at a bargain. And BMW gives you heritage with presence. Harley's chasing a future nobody asked for, while these brands are carrying the torch of what motorcycling was always meant to be. Real motorcycles for real riders at real prices. Now, if you made it this far, I've got a question for you. Do you think Harley can actually turn it around, or are these other brands the real future of motorcycling? Drop your take in the comments. I read every single one. And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button and subscribe for more real motorcycle talk. No fluff, no marketing spin, just straight rider-to-rider conversation. Because at the end of the day, it's not about the brand, it's about keeping the soul of motorcycling alive.